What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Goofy Rexy here, coming to you with another video. So today's video is going to be another Marvel Strike Force character review. Today's character review is going to actually be on this right here, this queen right here, Minn-Erva. That's who my character review is going to be on. She's by far one of my favorite characters in the game. Let's just watch her and this team kind of just beat up on this insignificant buffoons at this moment. But Minn-Erva is by far one of the best support characters in this game. I absolutely love using her. I use her often in a lot of different areas. I use her in arena. I use her in raids. She's a must use for me in raids. She's going to be a part of my Dark Dimension 3 team once I finally get there after getting the ever elusive mini uniques that I need to be able to get the rest of my characters there. But you know, she's going to be a part of my starting 5 for my Dark Dimension 3 team. So listen, Minn-Erva is absolutely one of the best characters in the game. She's a lot of fun. She's actually one of the characters that you guys on my Twitch stream actually recommended that you wanted me to do a character review on. So here it is, guys, Minn-Erva character review on today. Also mentioning Twitch, if you guys aren't already following me on Twitch or aren't already catching my live streams, please make sure that you do. I'm there Tuesday through Friday every single week. Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm there at 9, and Wednesdays and Fridays I'm there at 10. I'm pretty much, for the most part, never late, and I'm always there on those days. I also do Legendary Mondays too as well, so also catch me there. You know, whenever. So Black Bolt's coming out next week. I'm gonna be there for Black Bolt. Shuri's gonna be next after that. I'm gonna be there for Shuri, so come catch me on streams. Also, make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button too as well if you guys already done so, so that you can support this channel. It really helps me out in a lot of different areas if you guys can hit the subscribe button. Also, leave a like, comment, hit the notification bell so that you know when I post other videos too as well. Also, my other links are down below too, my Discord link, as well as my Twitter page. Come check me out, come chill with me there too as well. Would love to be able to hang out with you guys. This is about community for me, so if you guys could come and hang out with me, that would be absolutely great. So first, let's start talking about where you can find Minn-Erva. So Minn-Erva is, if you don't already know, she's in the premium orbs. Now you can take that premium orb statement with a grain of salt, because as far as I'm concerned, this is not a premium orb. When you have over 115 characters in this orb, there's nothing premium about this orb, as we can see here. But let's just show you the ridiculous drop rate that she's at. So first of all, let's continue to scroll, and then we finally get over to Minn-Erva. So Minn-Erva is a 2% drop rate, as well as Yo-Yo. Actually, the other day, that's why I said come check me on Twitter. The other day, I got a pretty good poll. I posted it on Twitter of Minn-Erva, Yo-Yo, and I also got Domino, and then I got one hella shard, but Domino, Minn-Erva, and Yo-Yo, I got 15 shards of them each. I had like 4 or 5 orbs to pull. It was actually a pretty epic moment. I felt pretty good about myself. That's a pretty good day when you're talking about RNG and Marvel Strike Force. So yeah, I mean, this is the only place that you can find Minn-Erva. There occasionally are some offers that are in the store for her. Typically, they're at these absurd rates. There have been the occasional $5 ones. Definitely, if there's any character that I advocate for buying in this game, it is absolutely make sure that you buy Minn-Erva. She is that good, and she will carry you in a lot of different areas, especially, you know, in Dark Dimension 2. But let's jump over right here. So my Minn-Erva is a little inflated. She is at gear tier 14. As I mentioned, she's going to be going on my Dark Dimension 3 team. So she's a little inflated. She has some pretty, you know, high up stats, but we can still kind of go through this and get a good barometer of, you know, what she can do and how good she is in this game, even with her being kind of like maxed out for me at this moment. So first and foremost, let's talk about her base stats, right? So she has very good health. I know that once again, these are inflated numbers, but she does have very good health overall in the game. And the reason why Minn-Erva's health pool is very important is because her healing kit is specifically really based on her healing, based on her health. So she heals for 15% of her health. So it's actually really good that she does have high health stats. So that's actually, in my opinion, that's an A grade, you know, health stat. Even if it's not gear 14 or gear tier 14, she still has pretty good, you know, high health stats. stats. Damage, she lacks on damage. She doesn't really do very well on damage, but once again, you don't really need her to do damage. And because of her heals, when she is in Dark Dimension 2, she's pretty much your biggest damage dealer when it comes to Dark Dimension 2 also. So once again, you don't really need her to do a lot of damage. You know, she's good and quite fine, you know, ultimately where she is with this damage output. Armor is kind of meh for me too as well. She doesn't really have a lot of very good high armor. I mean, armor is essentially if somebody does 30,000 damage, then this is subtracted from that 30,000 damage. Once again, it's not really great, so it is what it is. You can kind of live with it or do it. It's nice to be able to take 3,000 off 30,000 health, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. Focus. Her focus is extremely high, and which is really good because she applies bleeds. She applies bleeds, so having her focus be that high is actually really good. Her basic as well as her ultimate do land debuffs. So the fact that that is that high is actually really good for you. It will actually bode really well, you know, as a character. Resistance is also very good, meaning that of course her ability to resist effects, that's also really good too as well. So that's another thing that I would say, you know, is really about her. We're not going to talk about these stuff too much. Speed. She is very slow in terms of speed, or she's kind of like mediocre when it comes to speed, but that won't really matter because once we dive into her kit, you'll start to realize that realistically her speed actually doesn't really matter that much just because of the way that her kit is set up. When you look at her tag, she's a villain, she's a cosmic character, she's a support character, she's a tech character, and of course she also has synergy with Creed too as well. We'll talk a little bit more about Team Synergies and how that works a little bit later on. So let's kind of just dive right over, you know, into her kit a little bit, right? So Minn-Erva has a really strong kit, and when I do these evaluations, I do them based on her abilities already being at 6664. So let's talk a little bit about her kit. So first in primary attack is that she attacks a primary target for 170% damage. Once again, that damage output doesn't really mean much because she doesn't do a lot of damage anyway, so it doesn't really necessarily matter, but she does do 170% damage. This, she does apply bleed. Once again, that's why it's really good because her focus is very high, so therefore she does apply a bleed to pretty much every single character that she does fight. So that's really good. Additionally, what really makes this also great is that she applies regeneration to the most injured non-summoned ally. Once again, as a support character, this is fantastic because every single time that she goes with her basic attack, she's also applying regeneration to that character, which is absolutely fantastic and absolutely great. Her second ability, which is her special genetic reconstruction, she heals the most injured ally for 3,000 health, plus 15% of this character's max health. So there we go again with that 15% max health. So as you can see with my Minn-Erva is 149,000 in terms of health points, right? So 15% of those health points is absolutely massive when you're talking about healing. That's absolutely a great deal of healing, especially when it comes to raids if she does this attack. Now, you might not use this attack as often because of what we're going to read moving forward. It also does generate ability energy for random Kree allies. So once again, there is that Kree synergy thing to it as well. Once again, if you pair her with the Kree team, it's pretty good, right? But this is the reason why mainly everybody uses this attack, is to revive dead allies with 40% max health plus apply 2 death proof. This is actually really good because if you run it with, there's a team, that the BKT team, which is Star-Lord, Rocket, Thanos, Groot, you know, and then I missed something, Star-Lord, Rocket, Thanos, Groot, those 4 characters teamed up with her. You know, for a character like Rocket or Star-Lord, who tend to die relatively easy because they're super squishy characters, even Thanos, you know, her ability to revive that dead ally with 40% max health, but then also 2 death proofs is big, because typically, you know, the character that died is already squishy, so you revive them, they could die again if they only have 40% max health, but the fact that she applies 2 death proof is absolutely big, and is going to be really helpful, especially when it comes to, you know, her other attacks as well, that she can pile onto that, you know, as the battles go on. But once again, you typically save this attack and wait for somebody to actually die before you actually use this attack. That's when it's really actually valuable. Her ultimate steals 15% of health from all enemies. This is the attack that you use the most in Dark Dimension 2, which is why you want to put Star-Lord. You want to put her right next to Star-Lord because Star-Lord would give her energy, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But she steals 15% of health from all enemies and then redistributes it to all allies that are on her team. This is so big in Dark Dimension 2, where there's like 15 different characters that have these astronomically insane health pools. You know, being able to take that 15% and then to redistribute it to all your allies, essentially it pretty much heals them all the way up to full, which is once again why you want to use her in Dark Dimension 2. I love Minn-Erva. She's fantastic and amazing because of that. And also, this bypasses heal block, so it doesn't even matter if there's heal block on them. It's still going to heal them. This is great. This is fantastic. So this is one of the reasons why I love this attack. I love her ultimate. I love her kit in general. This makes it great. She always applies 2 regenerations, essentially for 2 turns to all allies. It's essentially 2 regenerations, right, that you get, because it does it for 2. It does 1 regeneration each turn, so for 2 turns. Also applies bleed for 2 turns to each enemy, which is also really good. You team her up with a character like you know, like Hela or Symbiote Spider-Man that also like to extend debuffs too as well and apply other debuffs. Really good, you know, to be able to team her up with characters like that too. So just giving you guys some ideas of how you can use her, you know, outside of Dark Dimension, outside of raids too as well. You know, just giving you guys some ideas, even though raids are really where she's best, and Dark Dimension 2 is also really where she's best too. And then if you do have Kree allies with her, then she also does apply deflect to Kree allies also as well. With her passive, on death of each ally, which is the reason why I said don't even worry about her speed, because on death of any character, on ally death, she fills her speed bar by 20%, which means that then she heals. And then also on enemy death, she heals the most injured non-summoned ally for 15% of character's max health. And of course, if that ally is Kree, it also applies a random positive effect. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the Kree, it's typically either offense down, defense down, or I think deflect. I think it is. So it's either offense down. It's typically offense down, defense down, or deflect. I think when it comes to the Kree allies that she has too as well. So listen, those are Minn-Erva's kit numbers. Now, in terms of T4s, she needs none. Please do not invest any sort of T4s into this character. Into Minn-Erva. She's not worth the T4s. She's fine. She's phenomenal without T4s, and the T4s won't really benefit you. As you can see on her basic, she does additional 30% damage. She doesn't do a lot of damage anyway, so it doesn't really make sense for you to do that. With her special, when you increase it, she gives an additional 2,000 health. 2,000 health is nothing. As you can see, her health pool alone is 149 right now. The 15% is enough. You don't need the additional 2,000 health. With her ultimate, her ultimate goes from 4,000 to 5,000 when you upgrade to T4. Once again, not worth it. Don't waste it on it. And then with her speed bar, it does increase by 5%, which can be kind of a big deal. But every single time when you kill a character or when any ally dies, she speeds up anyways. And then, of course, gives the opportunity for her to then to revive. So it really doesn't make... You don't really need to increase that ability either, you know, in my personal opinion. So I would definitely kind of stay away from investing in T4s into her. She doesn't really need them. In terms of synergies, I think the best synergies that we've talked about synergies. We've talked about synergies here before. Hold on, we lost my screen here. when we talk about synergies, the best synergies really for Minn-Erva is to use a BKT team, or not best, but I would say the synergies that I've seen her work with are the BKT team. So that would be Minn-Erva, as I mentioned before, Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, and then Thanos. And Thanos is a really good character that can give her energy too, as well as Star-Lord. The team works really well together. That's actually one of the first recommended raid teams when it comes to, or one of the best raid teams. Right now, the power creep is kind of a little bit different, so it's kind of a little bit of an old school team, but that's a really good team that you can use. Minn-Erva with. Another team to mention too as well is, using her with Ronin and the Kree minions. So pretty much Ronin and any Kree minions, I would probably go with Kree Noble and Kree Reaper, because they actually have a really good I like the fact that Kree Noble can call Reaper to do an attack, and Reaper always does heal blocks. So I think that works really well too as well, in terms of like that combination. And then any other sort of like Kree minion that's available, it doesn't really matter. You have Ronin and you have Minn-Erva, you're pretty much fine and all set. Another team that I found really works really well too is Ronin, Captain Marvel, and Minn-Erva. Once again, she has that Kree, so the synergy. Captain Marvel also does have a Kree tag, so therefore there's some benefits that she gets, as we saw earlier, that she does with her on spawn. She does give positive effects to Krees, to Kree characters. So that is also another type right here, Kree nanotech. She does also give Kree allies opportunity to get positive effects. So it's really good if you actually decide to put Captain Marvel or Ronin. There's some Greek raids where you need Kree characters, Minn-Erva, Captain Marvel, Ronin, and 2 other minions, probably Kree Noble and Kree Reaper, work really well, when it comes to that team. BKT team I already mentioned. I might have not mentioned this, but if you don't want to use Thanos, you can take Thanos out and you can use Vision. Vision is the tech character that has really good synergy with other tech allies. He gives defense up to those tech allies. There's other good synergy that Vision has with tech allies too as well. So I think that's a really good team. So like Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, Vision, and Minn-Erva work really well just because of the tech sort of synergy that's there. I've also kind of flirted with this team too as well. Like the symbiotes with IW and Minn-Erva also is another good team that I use. So Venom, Carnage, SSM, with IW and Minn-Erva work really well for me. You can even use Shuri, Minn-Erva, the symbiotes. You will work really well. Actually, right now I'm using Symbiote Spider-Man, Minn-Erva, Ultron. You might not have Ultron if you're watching this yet, or you might. So it all depends. But I use Ultron, Shuri, and then I also use Invisible Woman. That's the team that I use in U7, not 7.1 or anything like that, or 7.2, whatever. Just a normal difficulty in U7, and I'm able to do like 6 or 7 nodes with that team. So really good solid team for you to use, too as well. She has pretty much, you can use Minn-Erva anywhere. Minn-Erva makes any team better, because she's such a good healer. So don't even worry about where you slot her in. She's such a phenomenal character. So use her anywhere that you possibly can. She's really a great character. The best nodes, the best game modes to use her in, obviously, is Dark Dimension 2. We talked briefly about this already, but because of her ability to steal 15% health pool from all characters and then to redistribute that health, that's absolutely the biggest damage dealer that you can use in Dark Dimension 2 with these characters that have superb, high, absurd health pools. That's a really good. Minn-Erva is a phenomenal character to use there and to strip that healing from them, and then to move forward. So I mean, use Dark Dimension 2 is great. She's also, I haven't used her in Dark Dimension 3, but I've heard reports that she's really good in Dark Dimension 3 too as well. So that's another area for you to use her too. She's really good in Greek raids, any sort of like tech lane that you can use. Like her, Ultron work really well together. Vision, Scientist Supreme, they all kind of feed and work really well together. So that's another good place for you to use her too as well. But listen, I've kind of blabbered on too long. I feel like at this point I'm done babbling right now. Minn-Erva is a great character. If there's any other character that you spend money on getting, this is a character that you absolutely spend money on, because she drastically improves your roster tremendously. So, and it doesn't matter about stars. Stars don't matter with Minn-Erva. It doesn't matter where her stars are. She is phenomenal regardless of stars. So I should have said that earlier, but she's phenomenal regardless of the stars, because she's such a kit-based character. And the 15% doesn't matter what star level she's at. So thank you guys again for watching. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I appreciate you guys so much again. Make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Come check me on Twitch throughout the week. Also hop in my Discord. See me on Twitter, guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. Have a good one. And as I always say, guys, be blessed.